planty people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it has been a minute since I've talked to you guys about my cabinet back here. That's the IKEA Milsbo cabinet, and if you see like dirt on my hands, it's because I'm getting ready to repot some plants here in a bit, but that's for another video. But I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of an update on how some of my plants are doing. Some of them are doing great, some of them not so great. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. If you're enjoying the content at any time, please hit that thumbs up. Let's go ahead and get into the show, the main event. Okay, so this is not all my plants that I keep in here. I actually have a lot of them being bottom watered at the moment, so I will show you guys those in a minute. So let's just kind of go through what is in here at the moment. I was gonna clean, but then I was just like, you know, let's just show people the real deal on what this looks like on an everyday type of format. And I did pick up a few of the leaves that were like laying about, and then I filled up this little propagation, which was actually 2 propagations of stringer hearts, but there was a lot of like dead vines in there, so I took all the dead ones out really quick and just left the ones that are alive and actually growing. So I did do that. But let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about the plants. Sorry if you guys can hear the people mowing in the background. Of course, every single time I try to film a video, the mowers are here. But anyway, let's just go ahead and start with the top. I have this Hoya Compacta Varagata Monaloa. Now this is the inner variegation type. It looks a little bit better if we look at it outside of the purple lights. But yeah, she's doing really quite well. It's funny because all of this new growth up here at the top is doing really well, but then like the older foliage is turning yellow and kind of like dying off, so that's an issue. That is also an issue. There's my big thing of soil that I just pre-mixed. But anyway, she's doing okay. I haven't seen really any problems other than the old leaves yellowing off and dying. But she's putting out a lot of new leaves. So there's that. This big dude is doing outstanding. He's putting out a lot of new growth. All that pink is new growth. A lot of little new growth right there. He's doing absolutely fabulous. I have 0 complaints on how my my opposite variegated Hindu rope is doing. I also have a little prop here of some Hoya Bella Albo Marginata, I do believe is how you call it. I need to give these guys a bit of a drink, but they have roots all in there. It's doing quite well. This is my second batch of props that I took of my Hoya Bella. I already sold one of them, or traded actually, my first prop, and it was so beautiful. I'm kind of like sad that I parted with it, but like I parted with it for some really good plants. Next up is my Aetherium Marginata, I do believe. He's had a little bit of an experience. Had to take a brief pause there for a second because the mowers. But anyway, he's doing really quite good. Now, he was really sad because I went through a little bit of a streak where I wasn't watering my plants in here quite as often as I should be, but this is a brand new leaf and he is looking really nice. So back here is my Hoya macrophylla green form, and I heard that recently this has been reclassified as a, oh man, latifolia. So Hoya latifolia green form, question mark. That's what this dude is. He finally put out some nice new growth in here. He was really stagnant for quite some time. So I'm happy to see that he still just lives in moss, having a good time. This is one of my props that I have promised to one of my favorite planty people. This is in a medium silver cutting. He's doing really well, very well rooted. Got a nice little runner going. Hopefully a new leaf is on the way. And then one of my pride and joy Hoyas, this is my Hoya Cutting. It's got a beautiful new leaf right there, still hardening off, not quite hardened yet. If you've seen a lot of my videos, you're gonna be like, well, Heather, I feel like it hasn't grown at all. But I just took a cutting of this not too long ago, and this is the newest growth ever since then. I think I took a cutting right here, and it's grown all the way up here. So yeah, he's doing pretty good. Now, down here on the bottom shelf, currently we have a issue going on with my Philodendron Squamous Ferrum, which I was really proud of for quite some time because I got him to grow all the way up this moss pole. He's got some new growth right back there and also some new right there. But his older leaves are dying off pretty rapidly, and I think he needs to be repotted because I mean his soil isn't looking very good, but he might not. I don't know. Let's look at him, see what the damage be looking like. Oh my goodness. I prefer to bottom water him just because I don't like to get him out of here that often. Yeah, he is got some roots growing out at the bottom, but just because roots are growing out at the bottom doesn't necessarily mean you have to repot your plant, because some plants like to be root bound, and whenever they get root bound it makes them push out new growth. But I am kind of just a little bit worried because this leaf is significantly smaller than the last few leaves, so that's kind of worrisome. And I'm considering about putting him on this pole that I have over here, but we'll get to that in just a second, and putting him outside of the IKEA cabinet and letting him grow a little bit more that way. But he's doing okay. Next up we have a little Hoya Cutting. I bought this from the Planted Cauliflower, and she's not doing the best. Her little growth that she had is like completely dried up, so I'm not really sure what that's about, but it's got some really pretty foliage. I really like it. I think it's cute, and I don't remember what the name of this is, so it's just going to be Hoya no ID for the time being. And one of my pride and joy plants is going to be my Philodendron El Chaco Red. I just absolutely, let me get this dude out of the cabinet. I absolutely love this plant. I love how lush and just like pillowy and red the underside, the under like foliage is. Just love this plant in general. This was a wish list plant for some time. He's got a brand new leaf coming through right there, and this is one of his oldest leaves that he arrived with, and I will probably chop off at some point. A little tip for the Philodendron El Chaco. For me, I had probably 2 leaves snap as they were coming out of the sheath, but as once you see the sheath, like the new growth start to poke out of the sheath, I have found that if I open the sheath up just a little bit to where it's not as tight, I don't have any snapping with my new growth that comes out, because it comes out like this is really bent, and it just really comes out quite funny. So yeah, you're just gonna have to really watch and be careful with the sheath. I just found that if I go ahead and pop it open just a little bit, it comes out beautifully. Like this leaf and this leaf, I did that too, and they just absolutely look gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what this dude looks like, because I have a feeling he's gonna look hella good. And now we can talk about one of my problem childs. This is my Philodendron Varicosum. I have mixed feelings about this plant. He makes me so angry, But he's like he's really pretty. He's so cute. But like, I don't know why. I need to repot him into something more substantial than what I have him in. This little moss pole is like a piece of crap. Obviously he outgrew it like a long time ago. But geez, like this guy has gotten spider mites on me probably 2 or 3 times now. And I don't notice the spider mites on it until I see like something like this happen. And then I inspect, and then of course there's always spider mites. Why is this plant so prone to spider mites? It's almost like I have a really expensive alocasia. But yeah, he's doing okay now. I'm thinking really strongly about chopping the crap out of him. Maybe I will. Now, a plant that I probably haven't shown on camera yet is my Monstera constellation. I did a trade with a friend named Tess, I do believe, and she traded me this dude for a really good splendid cutting, and I am so happy with it because she had a hard time getting it to grow. I think the last like growth point ended up rotting on her, but look what's right there. A new little nubbin is coming out, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I've had him for a few months now, maybe 2 months now, and he really just like sits right next to my IKEA cabinet and just gets a lot of like ambient light from it. Like this is really dark. This is a dark corner. This is like the darkest area of my house because there's absolutely no windows on one side of my house, so it just really relies on the ambient light from my LED lights. Oh, oops. I just realized that I forgot to talk to you guys about my Hoya variegated. I'm angry at this plant. Like, he can just like kiss my butt because I just can't get him to grow. I can't get him to grow for nothing. I do everything that I can for him, and he's just finicky, and I'm over him. Kind of a sad story over here is my my best Philodendron Splendid. He's got some really good leaves right here, and this is his newest dude right there. Yeah, he was doing absolutely fantastic, and then I think this is his second leaf that he's lost. He's got a lot of yellowing going on right here and right here and right here, and I was really, ecstatic to put him on this giant pole and put him over here in the corner so where he can get a lot of ambient light. But obviously he's not happy, and I think I'm just going to chop the crap out of him, and I'm going to chop each of them node by node because I just can't stand how that is looking. Yeah, and I think I'm just going to switch him out with my Squamous Ferrum or my Atabapoense. I'll show you that in just a second. Yeah, it's got such beautiful foliage. I love this plant so very much. Okay, so let me try and show you these plants without including too much of my dirty dishes. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you guys a big problem that I had with my cabinet, and that was that I had a Thrip Outbreak out of absolutely nowhere. I was actually trying to trade my Aetherium Morquianum, this dude, and you can tell that he has some like yellowing on him in some spots, but I really just thought that it was 100% the lighting in my cabinet being too strong. Like that, because that happened to several of my plants. They started getting a little bit of a bleaching, and so that's what I chalked it up to. Thankfully, nobody wanted to trade, and I got to keep this guy a little bit longer, and I noticed that not only was he yellowing, but my crystallinum started getting a lot of yellowing on it, and my magnificum started getting really upset. Like there's even some more yellowing. And so I started looking a lot closer, and all of my Aetheriums were covered in friggin' thrips. And I've never experienced thrips before. I'm very upset that I've had to experience it now. I think one of my Aetheriums that took the least amount of a beating was my Forgetii. They were barely on him, so I guess they hadn't made their way all the way over to him yet. And then all my plants that were like on the bottom shelf really didn't have to endure anything. And my Aetherium medium silver also was on that shelf, but I never found one thrip on her. So maybe maybe thrips just don't really like Aetheriums that much. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at some of the plants, see how they're doing. I've got them bottom watering right now, and these guys are drying a little bit before I put them in the cabinet. My crystallinum's looking so sad. She's got such beautiful, big, healthy leaves, and then all of a sudden, the thrips just like overtook her. Once she gets, a few more leaves put out, I'm going to chop these leaves off. But right now, they're still, providing energy for the plant, so I'm going to keep them for the time being. But yeah, that's her. She's got a little growth point coming up right there, but she's always got a growth point. Let's talk a little bit about my Forgetii. My Forgetii is putting out just absolutely massive leaves, and I adore him for that. And he's got this little inflorescence. I've been watching it like day and night to see if waiting for it to get that like sticky type of texture to it, because whenever it gets really sticky is whenever you're supposed to be able to pollinate it, like add pollen to it. And I have some Clarinervium pollen in my freezer, so maybe not. I'm still waiting for it to get sticky. It hasn't completely unraveled, so maybe once it does, then it will. Otherwise, I'll just collect pollen from it and save it for another time. My Magnificum is absolutely angry at life. I'm not really sure why this dude is so angry, other than the fact that he battled some thrips, but I think that he was already a little upset beforehand, because he had originally put out this giant leaf for me, and then the next leaf he put out was this one, which is significantly smaller. So I'm not really sure why he's so upset, but screw you. Now over here, kind of already talked to you a little bit about this Warrock. It's got a little growth point right there. Tons of beautiful roots, still dripping. My Hoya Albo Marginata hasn't really grown like much at all since I took the last propagation from him. He's been pretty stagnant. He hasn't put out any new growth whatsoever, which is a little, upsetting, but maybe it's just because I took too many props from him, but I think he's still doing okay. I'm just gonna push him over to the side and let him heal. Hopefully he starts recovering soon. My Philodendron Adibapoense is growing quite large and in charge. This is his newest leaf, trying really hard not to show all the dirty dishes. I'm considering, because he has outgrown his pole quite a bit, I'm considering putting him over on like that splendid type of pole and putting him over to the side next to my cabinet, but I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with him yet. I don't think that I want to prop him or anything, so yeah, I'm just gonna let him grow for a bit. Here's an Aetherium who came back from a stump, doing quite well. Got lots of good roots in there. This is just an Aetherium that I just haven't really been able to figure out. It's like if you miss one watering on him, he completely, he gets really mad. He completely drops a leaf or leaves in this case. And yeah, he's very, he likes his water, that's for sure. Do not miss his watering. Here is my Aetherium crystallinum mixed with Doriaki hybrid. It's got a baby new leaf back there. He's doing quite well. These leaves are a little bit bleachy looking, but they also had thrip damage as well. But it's kind of interesting because they don't have quite the yellowing that the other Aetheriums have. Like they just literally look bleached as compares to this crystallinum, which has a lot of yellow spotting to it. But yeah, he's doing okay. Aetherium medium's got a nice little new growth right here. It's doing splendid. I have this new Aetherium rock leaf. Oh no, did I just, oh my God, I just bent it. F me. But yeah, he's not quite hardened off yet, so maybe that'll recover. Oh man, I'm so mad at myself. This is the first time I've bottom watered these plants like this, and I should have like dangled him over the counter. I'm so mad at myself. Now that he's kind of like ripped now. Oh man. Philodendron Varicosum. Got a nice yellowing leaf right here. He did have a lot more growth, but I chopped it all off because like all of his leaves were coming out and they weren't unfurling, and they were just ripping themselves like to pieces like as they were unfurling. So I just chopped it, and I'm node propagating those dudes. But yeah, that's pretty much all my plants that are in my IKEA cabinet. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed that emotional roller coaster that I just put you on, because it was quite emotional for me, especially what I just did with my Aetherium Varicosum. I'm very upset about it, but I'm trying not to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind. But anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you would like to. I really appreciate it if you guys watched it all the way through. If you did watch it all the way through, enter this emoji in the comments and I will make sure and like your comment. And yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.